What's up, y'all? Raw and real back at y'all with the new spill. The Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight. The holdup. What's the holdup? Everybody keep talking about what's the holdup, what's the problem, why is the fight not happening, date speculations and everything. And frankly, everybody think the fight is not happening because of money. I'm gonna break down to y'all some real facts, and like I say, I know every angle of the game, the boxing, the in the ring side, the business side, and if you just listen to what fighters are saying out of their own mouths in their interviews, all arrows point to basically Terrence really don't want to fight. And I'm gonna give you guys some breakdowns on why I think that and why I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Since Errol Spence came on the scene, and we all know this. Now, this is fact checks. For those of you hardcore fans out there, you should know this. You casuals, you might not. But this is a fact check. Errol came on the scene saying he was going to clean up his side of the street, which he did so, fight by fight. There is no Devin Haney kind of victory for Errol Spence. He didn't fight one person and just collected all the belts. He went through champion after champion, broke two of them orbital bones to get two of the belts. And a lot of people don't understand what they mean by this side of the street. I'm going to educate you guys on that as well. Side of the street means if we under the same promotional company, those fights are easier to get made. Simple and plain. That's why this fight is such a holdup, because that last belt is not a PBC fighter. So it's kind of hard to get the negotiations underway as far as the split, the venue, purse, back end, front end, guarantees, all those things come into play. All right. So that's why Errol said back in the day he was going to clean up his side of the street, which he did. But everybody was talking about the Terrence Crawford fight before Errol even had his second belt. But Errol said he was going to do. He did what he was going to do. Said he did what he said he was going to do 5 years ago. And I don't know why everybody acting like they oblivious to it. I mean, the man had setbacks that could have easily went different routes. But he remained true to his word and his promise to himself. Now, back when he had the one belt, the two belts, yeah, fact check. Terrence Crawford. Words out of Terrence Crawford's mouth. I don't want to fight him right after the accident because if I win, I'm not going to get the credit I deserve. Interview. Look it up. Then I want to, then he was chasing Manny Pacquiao. He had his heart set on Manny Pacquiao. He didn't even really want the Errol Spence fight. He would start talking about Pacquiao, saying that the Errol Spence fight is behind him. Another interview, fact check. Okay, if y'all just listen to the boy talk, it's a fact check. He don't really want the fight. And then he has no more Bob Arum to blame it on. None. He don't have Bob Arum to blame it on and say Bob Arum won't make the fight like he didn't make the Pacquiao fight. He don't have Bob to blame it on. He don't want the fight. Simple and plain. Errol did everything he said he was going to do. Cleaned up his side of the division, came back after the accident, fought his mandatory before the accident, which was Danny Garcia, beat Danny Garcia worse than any other fighter I'd ever beat him, and made him look bad than any other fighter I'd ever beat him off a layoff, off a year. I'm just stating facts, people. Some people say I'm biased, but I'm just stating facts and what comes out of these fighters' mouths. Like this channel is called Raw and Real, and that's my job to give it to y'all raw and real. Now, on that note, back to what I was talking about. If Terrence Crawford don't get the Errol Spence fight, he's got his eyes set on Charlo. Now, this is the humdinger right here. You got your eyes set on fighting Charlo, but you're negotiating, talking about money. It's not enough money for this, and you want this and that to fight Errol. Now, this is where you guys got to read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? Fighting Charlo is not going to get you an Errol Spence payday. Now, we all know the biggest fight in boxing is Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Now, you go up and fight Charlo because you're that mandatory. You can push for the mandatory. Just like you could have fought Errol Spence when you fought Jeff Horn. Another interview fact check. Your own trainer Bomac even said you could have fought Errol Spence for the IBF back then when you fought Jeff Horn. But you chose to fight Jeff Horn because it was an easier fight. So these are some chances that Terrence Crawford fans might not know about. You know what I'm saying? He had plenty of chances to fight Errol. Because when he was junior welterweight, he was Errol's mandatory for the IBF. But they chose Jeff Horn. And the reason why they probably chose Jeff Horn, like Bomac said, it was an easier fight. Not only that, because Terrence was so chasing Manny Pacquiao for that belt, and Bob Arum didn't want to give it to him because Bob Arum talking about he didn't want to see Pacquiao get hurt because they're friends or whatever. That's all, whatever is going to be on that side. But there's no more Bob now. So it's like you could have fought him then, you didn't. Y'all chose Jeff Horn. Now, as soon as he comes back and he's ready to go, you're making excuses about the accident. You're not going to get the credit you deserve if you win. Point blank and simple, the boy don't want to fight. But back to what I was talking about before I get off the subject. He don't want to fight Errol Spence, and that's just the bottom line. Because if you fighting Charlo, if the Errol Spence fight don't happen, you're looking to make history with least adversity as possible. You want to become undisputed in 2 weight classes. In 2 weight classes with least adversity as possible. Stylistically, you'll have a better chance at fighting Charlo than you would Errol Spence. Charlo is a boxer puncher. He's gonna plot. He's gonna thought. It's gonna be a chess match with Charlo, and you'll have a better chance at winning that fight if you don't get hit or stopped. But you'll have a better chance of winning that fight than the fight with Errol. And we all know this. You know what I'm saying? Because Errol is the type of fighter, he's going to stay in your chest. He's going to make you fight at a pace you're not used to. Charlo, on the other hand, he's an orthodox fighter. And he gives you time to think and select your punches. Now, Errol is not going to give you that time. You're either going to have to sink or swim with Errol, because he's going to be in your chest from round 1 to round 12 or however long it lasts. Charlo is a more methodical fighter. He plots, he set traps, shoots the straight right hand. And your switch that you normally does when you're in trouble will probably get you out of trouble with the Charlo fight. But the thing about it is, when you're switching with a southpaw, it's just like it's like a mirror match. It's not going to work. It's not going to give no special effects. It's not going to have the same effect on a fighter like Errol. And the pressure that you're going to be forced to fight at is not going to have the same effect. So, is it really about the money, or is it about creating history and legacy with least adversity possible? Or is it just the simple fact of stopping Errol from becoming undisputed? There's a lot of factors that play into this. But it's definitely not about the money. If you're willing to fight Jermell Charlo, knowing you're going to get less money. So all the speculations, all the speculations about money, it's not about money. Because you mean to tell me if it was about money, why would you even be eyeing a Charlo fight? You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it 100. Like I say, raw and real. I'm going to give it to you from all aspects. It's not about the damn money. He don't want that smoke. And that's the bottom line. And he's been saying this years ago. He don't want that smoke. And to the Crawford fans that says, now this is the funny part with you Crawford fans. Y'all say Errol is ducking Terrence Crawford. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck did y'all get that from? Who's gotten title after title after title and trying to collect the fourth infinity stone, so to speak? You know, so y'all stop with that shit, man. How the fuck is he ducking? This man has been through accidents, eye injuries. How is he ducking anybody when you come back and fight your mandatory? When you took no tune-ups, didn't want no tune-ups. He got back in the saddle and rode. Continued out his career and his legacy. How is he ducking Terrence Crawford when Terrence Crawford is the one that had the chance to fight him back when he fought Jeff Horn? But didn't. And his own trainer said so himself. So before you guys just start getting on the bandwagon because it might be your favorite fighter, do some facts checks and researches and watch these interviews that these fighters give. Because it's coming out of their own mouth. You know what I'm saying? Do some fact checks. For real. But Terrence Crawford, to me, is not about the money. Because if you're willing to fight, go up in another weight class and fight another fighter for less money, a bigger fighter, stronger fighter for less money, that's because he's an orthodox fighter. And your switch hitting shit probably will work on him. And that's what usually bails you out of trouble when you get rocked a shot. And it won't work against Errol. And you know there's a chance that you'll lose. A big chance that you'll lose. And horribly, badly, probably get beat the fuck up. Or your eye socket broke. But all in all, you really don't want that work. But you got the world believe. Ain't nobody stopping you. Ain't no promoter stopping you. Ain't nothing stopping you. Stop playing. You trying to stop that boy from becoming undisputed. My thing is, if you're not going to fight, relinquish your title. Floyd Mayweather had to be the B-side with Oscar De La Hoya, and people seem to forget this. He had to be the B-side with Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar picked the ring, the gloves, everything, the weight class, but he knew he can beat him. He did what he had to do, and he beat him. And he never looked back. So, and people, you got people thinking it's about money. Why should it be any different for you? Beat the man, become the man. Then your next fight, you do all the negotiating about the money. How in the hell you think you can get a 50-50 split when the numbers don't stack up on your side? You're not selling out stadiums. 2 of your pay-per-views combined don't compare to what Errol bringing. So are you 50-50 split worthy? Deserving? No. Come on. You got to be realistic with this shit. You got to be realistic with it. Now, once you add up everything that I just said, dating back 5-6 years ago, Terrence really don't want this fight. He's attached to Errol's shirt tail. So when they mention Errol, they mention Terrence for clout purposes. Same thing Ryan Garcia do with Tank. You riding this nigga's coattail to try to give some shine to your name, but really don't want the fight. It's just like back in the day when they mentioned Floyd, they mentioned Pacquiao. When they mentioned Pacquiao, they mentioned Floyd until the fight finally happened. Now, y'all might meet up at 154. I say relinquish the belt Let Errol go be unified. If you don't want to fight, meet up at 154 since you're talking about going there anyway, fighting Charlo. It still will be a big fight. But it'll be an even bigger fight at 154. You're undisputed at junior welterweight. Errol become undisputed at welterweight. And now y'all clash at 154. Even if his title's on the line or not, it's still going to be the fight that everybody wants to see. But it'll be even bigger if you got two undisputed champions in two different weight classes fighting in the same weight class. Let that sink in for a minute. But it's not about money, y'all. It's not about money. Terrence really don't want the fight. He don't want that smoke. Because we all know fighting Charlo, he going to make less, but he's willing to take that fight. And I bet you he's going to take whatever they give him. Because he's looking to create history with least adversity as possible. But that Errol Spence blunt that he's smoking, it's a different kind of smoke right there. And he don't want it. He'd rather go where his chances are best fighting the orthodox, slower, bigger, and stronger Charlo. That way he can switch, give him different angles into the work. You can't do that shit on a southpaw. It's not going to work for you. Especially with the stylistically Errol Spence pressure and power attack. It's not going to work. Every fight Terrence start off losing. Because he has to figure you out. That's why he starts slow. You're not going to have that chance against Spence. You either going to sink or swim. And I think that's the biggest holdup of the fight right there. He don't know if he can fight at that pace or handle that pressure. Into which Charlo is going to give him holes, angles, and it's going to be more of a thinking chess match fight, and Crawford have a better chance of winning. I'm not saying he'll stop Charlo, but he have a better chance of outpointing him. He have a better chance of beating him that way. But that's my thought. And it's my job to keep it raw and real for y'all. I'm going to open some of y'all eyes with this one. Because the fight needs to happen for boxing's sake. If it don't, I mean, it could be bad for Crawford's career. Because you did all this when he was injured and everything. Now he ready to go. You're not ready. With no real excuse in play. And my opinion is take what's on your plate. If you're sure you can beat the man, take what's on your plate. Next fight, you negotiate and you do this. You do that. You call the shots. You become the A-side. Like I say, Floyd did it with Oscar. Why should it be any different for you? When Floyd did it, you see where he at now? He ain't look back. He a billionaire. So think about that. One fight can change your life. This raw and real, y'all. Peace. Keeping it raw and real for y'all.